I've been in the middle of my Christmas baking, Christmas cooking all those wonderful things, sweets and savories too, that we only cook this time of the year. Today I'm going to share a really super simple recipe. I found this probably, gosh, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago or something, just on the back of a bag of coconut. Granny and Pap loved coconut when I was growing up, and I love it. Coconut pies, coconut cookies. Now, a lot of people don't care for coconut. Matt is one of the people that says he doesn't like coconut, although I think he's changed because I've seen him eating my sister-in-law Kim's coconut cake more than once. But when we were first married, he told me he didn't like coconut anything because it reminded him of toenails, which is crazy and awful and horrible. You can hear Corey laughing, I'm sure. Yeah, but I love coconut. Pap used to he'd tell me wonderful stories about how we thought coconut was good. We just didn't know what coconut really tasted like, because he remembered eating coconut when he was stationed in the Marines, stationed in places where there was real coconut trees, you know. So he had fond memories of that. But this recipe is so easy. And back when I found it was in the days when I was going to a lot of things, whether it's at church or different things where you would be asked to bring a dessert, like a potluck or something. And I seen how easy this was, and I thought, well, I really like coconut, and if it actually turned out good, then it would be something easy to whip up to take to those kind of places. And you may be familiar with it too. It's called coconut macaroons, but it's not like the traditional macaroon that you're probably thinking of immediately that comes to mind. So all it takes is just 3 ingredients, and you really could do it with 2. You could really leave the vanilla out if you wanted to. But it takes 5 1/3 cups of shredded coconut, sweetened coconut. It takes 1 can of sweetened condensed milk and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And you mix all that up, and then you put it on a cookie sheet and bake it, and that's it. That's how easy it is. So now we're just going to mix it all up together. I've got my coconut. Here's my sweetened condensed milk. As you might imagine, it's a very sweet cookie. And my vanilla. It'll sort of give you a workout mixing it all together. And one tip I forgot to tell you, and I forgot to even do it, is if you put your vanilla in your sweetened condensed milk first and stir it up, then that way it makes it incorporate all more thoroughly, and I didn't do that, but it's okay. So now that you've got it all mixed up, it's time to actually put them on the pan. The original recipe that I found on the back of the baker's coconut bag, I guess it was, says to grease your pan really well and to cook them that way, and I've done that lots of times. This is a recipe that likes to stick on you. A lot of the times I would have to like kind of pry up my cookies, but it's one of those things, they're so soft when you first get them up that you out of the oven that you can kind of do that, and then once they dry or they cool, then they kind of dry out and they get more sturdy. So that's one thing. I like to use parchment paper, so that's what I'm using today. And some recipes I've seen online, this same recipe, they like to put it in a like a melon baller, or either even a mini ice cream scoop thing that'll release easily for you. So you could do any of those kind of things. I just use 2 spoons and put them out there like that and kind of push them down is how I like to do it. But you can, there's a variety of ways to actually do the drop cookies, and I'm sure you probably already have your favorite way. And of course the size of your cookies is up to you too. You can play around with it and see. So what size you prefer for your family, little ones, or you can make great big ones. While they spread maybe slightly, they don't really spread that much, so you can get them pretty close together. So I'm going to pop these in the oven, and then I'm going to get the rest of them out on a cookie sheet, and once they're done, I'll show you how they turn out. So you can see they're kind of really gushy when you first get them out of the oven. I would go ahead and get them off the pans immediately though. And then as they cool, they're so pretty though, aren't they? But as they cool, they will harden up. I think parchment paper really works better than, or if you have one of those bacon mats, that would probably work the best. But I mostly, over the years, would just use grease to grease the pan with shortening or lard or whatever, because I didn't have any parchment paper, but parchment paper does work better. But even if you have to really scrape them off, I think they just kind of solidify back and they still taste so good. So I've let them cool just for a few minutes. They probably need to cool longer, but I can't hardly wait. So you can see they make a really pretty cookie. The little pieces that are sticking up kind of get browner than the rest. And they're really chewy. That's why they're so good. You can see on the inside. Now this one's still kind of hot, so as it cools, it will get firmer for sure. So good. If you love coconut, you will love these. It's very sweet though, very sweet, but very good. If you like sweets and you like coconut, then you're really going to enjoy this cookie. When I store them, because they are kind of sticky, I put, like if I'm going to put them in a container, whatever shape of container, I put like a layer, and then I'll put a layer of either parchment paper or foil or plastic wrap or something like that, and then put another layer. And that way you can layer them on top of each other. You wouldn't want to put too many layers. They might get heavy and kind of push down, but a couple, like three or four layers, it'd be just fine. And they keep pretty good because they are so moist with all that sweetened condensed milk. They'll last at least a week or something, if they last that long. They usually don't last that long in my house. But you could keep them in an airtight container and enjoy them for at least a couple of days. So I hope you enjoyed learning seeing how I make the coconut macaroons from this old recipe that was on the back of the coconut. I'm sure you're probably familiar with it too. But it is a really good cookie to make at Christmas, but also one when you're just in a hurry, when you got to go somewhere and you need to take a sweet treat along with you for a potluck or something like that. It's an easy, quick recipe to make. Be sure to drop back by often and help me celebrate Appalachia.